Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, it seems like the profiteers are everywhere on all sides, especially during a war. And here we have some bounties offered for capturing Western tanks. This is offered by the Russian side. As you probably know, the United States will send 31 Abrams 1 tanks to Ukraine. Leopard 2 will be sent to Ukraine. Leopard 1 will be sent to Ukraine by Germany, about 88 I think. They will not send Leopard 2, Leopard 1, the Germans. The Poles will send Leopard 2 and other weasels. So there were some articles about 4 or 5 days ago when the Russians first said, some private company said, well, for every tank that was blown up, you're going to receive this amount of money, and for this, that, and so on. Now they came with something else. If you capture an operational Western tank, you receive a lot of money. Now, let's see what's going on here. This article came a few days ago, on the January 30th, 2023, from Reuters. This was the initial article. Russian business offers cash bounties to destroy Western tanks in Ukraine. This was the first one. Destroy it, you get money. So a Russian company said it will offer 5 million rubles, $72,000 in cash to the first soldiers who destroy or capture Western-made tanks in Ukraine, after the Kremlin vowed Russian forces would wipe out any Western tanks shipped to Ukraine. Remember, to the first soldiers. Like what? How many? The first 5? The first 100? Okay, doesn't say. Very important. Anyway, this comes from the Moscow Times, and it's again an older article, and this says that what's going on, little dog? You don't let me read that. Russian troops offered bounties for destroying Western tanks in Ukraine. The Moscow Times. So this is what it is here. So let's see what these guys are saying. The same thing. A Russian company has offered cash bounty for up to $71,648 for the destruction or capture of Western-made tanks recently promised to Ukraine by its European and American allies. And we find here that we have a force, the Yekaterinburg-based company behind the offer, said on Friday that in addition to the 5 million ruble bounty for the capture or destroying of the first tank, it would also pay out 500,000 rubles, which is only $7,164 for each subsequent tank. And we have here, last week, the government of Siberia region promised a bounty of up to $42,900 for the capture of a German-made Leopard 2 tank, and 1.5 million rubles, which is $21,450 for a capture of an American M1 Abrams capture. All right, so it says here the Russian regional volunteer battalions also offered one-time payments and bonuses for the destruction of enemy heavy weaponry, including payments up to $4,290 for destroying an enemy tank or aircraft. Now, we go back to today's article. This is from February 5, 2023, Russia Today. And it says the Russian battalion will pay $170,000 for a Leopard, Abrams, or Challenger captured in working condition. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Don't go anywhere, guys. Hey, are you still with me? Oh, I thought you went to get the $170,000. All right, a Russian battalion offered a bounty on Friday for every operational Western-made tank seized by Moscow forces. The announcement was made by the Pavel Sudoplatov Battalion, an international volunteer unit. I didn't know about Pavel. So Pavel Battalion, Sudoplatov. All right, international volunteer. Now these guys will be called mercenaries by the Western countries. Now that they know these guys, I didn't know about Pavel. So this an international volunteer unit created in Russia's Zaporozhye region in September 2022 and named after a famed Soviet-era spy master known for his operations against Ukrainian nationalists. Remember, this is coming from Sputnik, so take it easy. Now, writing on Telegram, the battalion said it, and I'm quoting, officially declares that it will pay 12 million rubles, which is $170,000 for each serviceable captured Leopard, Abrams, or Challenger tank. End quote. The announcement appears to be part of a trend in which Russian businesses and business entities and officials have placed bounties on Western equipment captured or destroyed in Ukraine. And now they give us whatever I read to you a minute ago. It's offered local soldiers fighting $42,000 for an operation, $42,000 for Operation Leopard 2 tank, $14,000 for destroying one, $21,000 for the capture of and $7,000 for the destruction of American M1 Abrams tanks. So we have here, it says who's sending what. In January, several Western nations made the unprecedented decision to supply Ukraine with modern main battle tanks. Germany announced that it would send 14 Leopard 2 tanks, and I have an article where they said they will send, I think, 88 Leopard 1 tanks. They put them, ready to chop them, and they said, we send them to the poor, how do you call it, poor relative, Ukraine. They're not related, but you know what I mean. 14 Leopard 2 tanks to Kiev and allow other European countries to export their own stocks to Ukraine. And the US pledged to deliver 31 Abrams tanks. The UK also stepped in, announcing it would support Ukraine with 14 Challenger 2 tanks. But this is just the beginning. This is just the first batch. Russia has repeatedly warned the West against supporting Ukraine with weapons, arguing that doing so will only prolong the conflict. Commenting on the deliveries of modern tanks to Kiev, Peskov noted that they will, and I'm quoting, burn like the rest of the Western weapons. Okay, well, if you say so. This is the $170,000 if you capture a functional Abrams tank. I don't know. If you're lucky. Obviously, no one would capture any tanks and no one will destroy any Western tanks. Why? Because they're so good and the Russians are so ill-prepared. Why? How do I know that? I know that because of the HIMARS. Remember? According to the Pentagon, this many HIMARS, 0, were destroyed by the Russians since they were first delivered in May or June 2022. I suspect that those were operational before that, the first official delivery of HIMARS, because I do not believe that 8 HIMARS units that were supposedly delivered 4 and then 4 and 12 and so on, they were able to, stop the Russians in their tracks right there. I refuse to believe that. And then again, I refuse to believe, how do I have any evidence? Well, the Russians claim this, the Americans claim this. I ignore that because they're all lying, more or less, or they could possibly lie for obvious reasons. But if you try to you look at it logically and use your reason, you're going to realize that it's almost impossible not to destroy something that it is within 80-kilometer range. Because these HIMARS, they supposedly have missiles that were their radius, the how do you call it? The range, Jesus Christ. The range was blocked. They didn't send them the long range missiles, they sent them the short ones, which go to about 50 miles, which is about 80 kilometers, I think. That's all they got. So that means in order to hit across the border, across the line of contact with the Russians, to hit their installation, you have to bring your HIMARS within 20 kilometers, let's say. That means you bring them in the line of fire for the Russians as well, which have long-range missiles. Okay, so they can hit you with something that you can't hit them. So you have to bring them close. So they will be right in the range. So then you tell me that these guys are just coming over, put that shit in, release the whatever missiles they release from that location, and then they rapidly quickly pack their shit and then move away. And the Russians are not able to figure out where that happened and what direction and so on. If you think that operation lasts, I don't know, 20 seconds, no, it doesn't last 20 seconds to launch missiles. So in that period of time, I have to confess that I don't know the duration, but I'm pretty sure that putting all those landing gears and getting it ready and all that is not going to take 20 seconds. And even if it takes 20 seconds, once that's launched, the missiles, the Russians will probably visibly, not only that, will understand where that was launched, the area, and they're going to start looking for them with drones, with satellites. So the fact that the HIMARS is an object, that means it exists, you can see it, you can hear it, you can taste it and so on. That means it could be blown up. It's not invisible like the invisible planes the Americans built. Another bullshit for tards, okay, to like a fish, the lure. It's a lure for food. The same here. Oh no, those invisible planes, man, yeah. That's how I've been told. I was like, are you crazy or what's going on? Oh, until I understood the level. But anyway, so same here. They blew up those things, but why would you confirm it? No, the same. No, zero. Why? That's a lot of demand for military-industrial complex to sell them. So why would they say, well, they're all blown up already? Nobody wants them. And the Russians, well, we got the S-400s. How about that? Buy them, get one free. So it's a salesman activity over there. My equipment, buy it. No, my equipment, buy it. Oh, your equipment, we blow them up. No, we didn't blow anything. We blew yours. No, you didn't. And people, oh, which one? It's already. Why do you think the Americans go in first? So they can show themselves, and then they allow the other ones, hey, you can come in, you can bring your shit in. It's not only because they're the boss, but, because the military-industrial complex has to have the first offer right there. And then they allow, other weasels to come in with their nasty, rusty, ugly, inefficient military equipment. Blah, 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 whatever. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.